Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Get that link.
Can I ask everyone to take a red book if you don't have it? We'll be using that this morning. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to mute you all for now. I think you're already muted anyways. Okay.
It sent it.
Okay. A little late, but better late than never. So thank you all for joining us, either in person or on the Zoom call. I apologize for those who are joining by Zoom, and there's probably some that never got on. I didn't realize until just a few minutes ago, actually, that the original invitation that I sent, I forgot to attach the link to it. So I hope people that were asking are able to get on. Anyways, welcome to our regular Sunday service. And we're going to begin the service with a moment of silent meditation. Actually, I'm going to invite two people who did actually contact me. So I'm just going to send an invitation out by email to join the meeting right now. So if you could just be patient for a couple more minutes. Thank you. Gmail. Okay. So we'll start off with a moment of silent meditation, followed by the recitation of the name of the Buddha or the Nembutsu. Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs. Okay, next we're going to be having the reading of the Golden Chain. And we'll bring it up on the screen here as well. So for those of you who are here in attendance in the red Satan, it is on page, where is that? Page 126, and I will also bring it up on the screen as well. So for those of you who are joining by Zoom, or even those here who want to see the screen, you may. Golden chain of love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. In gratitude, may I keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living being and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that what I do affects not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also those of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida. Namo. So today we're going to be chanting in English, the English chant of the Shoshinge, which you'll find on page 106 of the red Satan. Do you all have one? It's up here. It's also on the screen as well. Okay. Naman Dobs, Naman Dobs, Naman Dobs, Naman Dobs, Naman Dobs. Oh, sorry, Mom, I didn't get you one. In trust in the working of limitless life, bow to the light that surpasses all thought. Bodhisattva Dharmakara in his seeking stage, Satlokeshvara Raja at his Buddha seat. He learned the causes and conditions of each Buddha land, studied the inhabitants and all their qualities. On this foundation he brought forth supreme aspiration, awakening the great vow, all embracing, vast and rare. Through ages of reflection, determining his vow, he reaffirmed his calling name would be heard everywhere. Thus he radiates his light, immeasurable and boundless, unhindered beyond compare, a dazzling, glorious blaze.
light that purifies the mind, light of joy and wisdom, light unceasing beyond thought, far beyond description, brighter than the sun and moon, illuminating countless worlds. Every being, everyone receives this radiant light. The calling name of the primal vow properly directs us. The vow of sincere and trusting mind becomes for us a cause. Equal awakening is attained, confirming great nirvana. Because of the vow's fulfillment, nirvana is surely attained. The reason that Tathagata came forth into our world was to teach Amida's primal vow, boundless as the ocean. Now beings also boundless in this evil, impure age should respond in trust and take to heart Tathagata's true words. If for the briefest moment the mind of joy awakes, we realize nirvana, though our minds remain defiled. Worldly wise dharma haters all will turn and enter as rivers pour into the sea, becoming of one taste. The all-embracing mind light always shines on and protects us. The darkness of our ignorance already has dispersed, yet craving, anger, greed, and hatred, like dark clouds and mist, always cover up the sky of true insight and faith. As clouds and mists obscure the sun, covering its light, yet beneath them pure light radiates, no darkness can be found. Receiving faith with reverence, discernment, and great joy, without delay we leap across beyond the evil realms. When ordinary beings, whether full of good or evil, hear and trust Tathagata's all-embracing vow, Shakyamuni calls them all superior, clear-sighted. Such people are correctly named white lotus flowers. Amida Buddha's primal vow established Nembutsu. Yet we who cling to evil views with arrogance and pride can never easily receive the truth with joyful faith. There is nothing that could be more difficult than this. The masters of the teachings from India in the West, and all the noble monks who lived in China and Japan, explain to us the great sage came with a true intention to clarify the primal vow accords with everyone. Shakyamuni Buddha dwelling on Mount Lanka, to the multitudes foretold one day in India south, Mahasattva Nagarjuna will appear in this world and destroy dualistic views of being and non-being, transmitting Mahayana, the Dharma unsurpassed. He will realize the stage of joy, be born in the land of peace, and teach that arduous practice is like struggling down an endless road, while joyful trust in the easy way is a peaceful voyage at sea. With mindful recollection of Amida's primal vow, without design instantly we reach a certain stage, and with the soul eternal praising of Tathagata's name, let us repay the kindness of the great compassionate vow. Bodhisattva Vasubandhu in his discourse stated that he had surrendered to unhindered light, relying on the larger sutra. He revealed true virtue, made known that with a great vow we leap over birth and death. Through the power of the primal vow transferring us its virtue, he revealed the single mind, delivering all beings, entering the all-pervading precious sea of merit. We surely will be numbered with the great assembly. Allowed to reach the lotus world, we realize true suchness. True Dharma nature is attained clearly without doubt. We play in the forest of passions, yet manifest wonderful powers. We enter birth and death's garden, transformed to benefit all. The king of Liang in ancient China, revered Master Tanwan, and daily bowed toward his teacher, a bodhisattva in his eyes. When Master Bodhi-Ruchi gave Tanwan a Pure Land text, he burned his Taoist books and placed his trust in the land of peace. He wrote a commentary on Vasubandhu's discourse, reveal cause and effect of birth, both come from the vow. We depart and we return because of other power. Only through the mind of faith is Buddhahood assured. When the mind of faith awakes in ordinary beings, we are made aware that birth and death is nothing but nirvana. And when unfailingly we reach the limitless and radiant land, we will save the myriad of beings everywhere. Tao Cho discerned on the noble path, attainment is hard to confirm, and clarified the Pure Land as a sole way to break through. Criticize self-power practice of the myriad good works, and urged us only to recite the perfectly virtuous name. He kindly taught us face aspects, pure mind single and constant, guides us as the Dharma declines toward outward form and extinction. Meeting the all-embracing vow, though doing evil all our lives, we reach the world of nurturing peace, realize the fruit of enlightenment. Shantao alone shone light upon the Buddha's true intent, empathizing with those who practice good and with the rebellious and evil. He made it clear that the radiant name is a cause and condition for birth, clearing the way for all to enter the gracia wisdom, the primal vow. We then receive the diamond mind, one and indestructible, through one moment of joyful thought in oneness with Amida. With Vaidehi we acquire faith and joy and wisdom, awaken to the way things are, eternal and at peace. Genshin studied fully every teaching of the Buddha, chose refuge in the peaceful realm, imploring all to follow, divided deep and single faith from shallow sundry practice, distinguished birth in the true Pure Land from provisional attainments. He taught that even evil ones should simply say the Buddha's name. I too, he said, am fully in Tathagata's embrace, though my defiled and anxious mind prevents me from perceiving it. The light of great compassion shines upon me ceaselessly. Our old Master Honen understood the Buddha's teachings with compassion for all ordinary beings, good or bad. He caused the true essential way to flourish in these islands, proclaimed the selected primal vow throughout this evil world, returning to samsara's house, the wheel of birth and death. Results when doubt and lack of trust become the mind's foundation. But when the mind of faith awakes, we are quickly made to enter the home of pure tranquility, transcending all conditions. The Mahasattvas and Masters, through teaching the sutras, have saved countless beings so defiled and corrupt. Now in our own time, both lay people and monks, let us trust with one heart what our noble masters have taught. Namanabu, 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 Namanabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. No one doubts, no one doubts, no one doubts. Once again, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Can you all hear me on Zoom? Yes, okay, good. It's amazing how easily we can get flustered. This morning, I got here and made sure all the clocks were moved ahead and thought, okay, everything's set and getting ready for service. And then about 5 minutes before the service, I found out from some of the members who are trying to join by Zoom, that I had forgotten to attach the link to the invitation. Incidentally, for those, I think most of you have figured it out, but it's the same link every week. So if you don't get the link this week, just go back on an invitation from previous weeks, and it's the exact same link. So if that happens in the future, which could happen, myself being absent-minded, I could forget to attach the link. If that happens again, just go back to a previous week's invitation, and it's the same link. I'm going to read a passage. It's actually the same passage I read last week, and I'll explain about it afterwards. It is from the writings of Shinran Shonin, from his true teaching, practice, and attainment of the Pure Land Way. And the passage goes as such. How joyous I am, my heart and mind being rooted in the Buddha ground of the universal vow, and my thoughts and feelings flowing within the Dharma ocean, which is beyond comprehension. I am deeply aware of the Tathagata's immense compassion, and I sincerely revere the benevolent care behind the Master's teaching activity. My joy grows ever fuller, my gratitude and indebtedness ever more compelling. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. For those of you who were here last week or joined by Zoom last week, you'll know that I gave a talk last week. It was our Shotsuki service, but I also mentioned about how I came across this article on how science was talking about the afterlife, and that there was this particular scientist, not mentioning names, who said that there cannot be an afterlife according to the laws of physics. And he started going on explaining about our atoms and protons and electrons and et cetera. Just very scientific, but he said there couldn't be an afterlife. But that was only one view, and there are many other views. And this past week, I just happened to come across, if any of you get Netflix, do anybody here get Netflix? Nobody here gets Netflix, okay. Well, on Netflix, there's a program that I just came across, a documentary, and it was entitled Fantastic Fungi.
I always thought it was fungi, but apparently you could pronounce it either fungi or fungi. And it was all on mushrooms, about mushrooms, this show, documentary on mushrooms. For those of you who know me, you know that I do like mushrooms, especially the matsutake. And when Mitsu Sakai passed away, I actually showed up during my Dharma message, I showed a map of that Mitsu Sakai had bequeathed to me, myself of where to go and find the pine mushroom, matsutake, right? It's a very secretive and honorable thing to receive from a matsutake hunter, but the matsutake mushrooms, have any of you gone matsutake hunting before? Oh, it's so you have to go way into the woods where the pine trees are, matsu trees, and it's like treasure hunting basically, because what you look for is this little thing that's sticking out of the ground, and it's a lot of fun actually, but also quite tiring. So anyways, when I saw that Netflix had this documentary called Fantastic Fungi, I thought, it's called Fantastic Fungi, The Magic Beneath Us, okay? And what was fascinating about this documentary was they were talking about, throughout the world, there's so many, hundreds of thousands of different kinds of mushrooms. And they're all unique species, they say. Mushrooms are sort of like, they're not quite plants and they're not animals, but they're sort of in between almost. Okay? And the stuff that we pick is just the top of the surface. And what they were talking about, there's underground this thing called mycelium. And mycelium are these long, I guess they're like the roots of the mushroom, okay? But mycelium are apparently actually single-cell organisms that spread, okay? But what's fascinating about it is that this mycelium is throughout the world, like underneath all the ground, and it creates a network throughout. And they found that, in fact, in the forests, the trees actually use this mycelium to communicate with one another. Or maybe, Suzon, you might know all this being from the forestry industry. But it was fascinating because they said that actually one tree will communicate with another. And they said that the parent tree can actually communicate to the saplings. And when they realize that the sapling is not getting enough nourishment, the parent tree will actually reduce what it takes up so that the sapling could get nourishment. So there's an actual network of I guess, communication going on, right? And they were talking about how this mycelium is a key to so many things in our world. And the importance of it is that it helps decompose carbon matter. So all the fallen trees, all the dead animals, it decomposes it, and then from there, new life is created. And they said, without this, we would have a terrible situation on this earth because you need something to decompose all the fallen and rotting stuff. And that's what this mycelium and the mushrooms basically do. Well, mushrooms are the flowers of this mycelium, okay? And so what they were saying was that they were talking about the interconnectedness, interdependence of all of life. And some of the fascinating things about this mycelium is that they've actually found that they can make building material. They're making bricks out of this mycelium now, and they're finding all different ways or usage for this. Another thing it does, because it breaks down carbon, they find that it could possibly be a solution for oil spills, because it actually breaks down the oil as well, which is carbon-based. And so, anyways, this mycelium, the idea of it being something that recycles life. It decomposes, but then new life comes about. And the scientist who was talking about all this mycelium was saying that, the problem that we have is that we get attached to ourselves. We want to maintain what is here. But what he was saying is that everything, all things come and go. And he was talking about the fact that we will decompose as well. But he said not to worry. Through this mycelium, new life will come about. And I found this very fascinating because I found this interconnectedness is where we can find liberation or freedom from our suffering. When we start thinking of me as an individual, that's when we can have a lot of suffering that happens. People begin to feel lonely, people feel sad from separation, etc., etc. But when we really take a look at our own selves, even our individual self, we are a composition of millions of cells. So we are actually a composition of living entities. We're not just a single being. We're full of this. So instead of looking at ourselves as I or one, if we think of ourselves as a composition, and this is not just our physical body, but our emotional being as well. We are a composition of all the experiences that we have had so far. And if we can appreciate each one as a unique experience, and also let go of that experience as it goes by. Appreciate it for the moment, appreciate it for the instance, but also let it go when it's time to let it go. Then we can have peace within ourselves and realize that in the interconnectedness of life, we are always one together. And the passage that I read from Shinran Shonin's writing, this is what Shinran was referring to. When he says, how joyous I am, my heart and mind being rooted in the Buddha's ground of the universal vow, and my thoughts and feelings flowing within the Dharma ocean, which is beyond comprehension. So Shinran is talking about the fact that he realizes he is within this oneness of life, the Dharma ocean, he calls it. And it is true, it's beyond our comprehension. We can sort of understand it, but when it comes right down to it, we always think, I. So it's very difficult for us to truly accept it. But when we realize the working of the Dharma or the oneness of life, we can have a true appreciation and we can live in a much more grateful manner. And so I found this documentary, The Fantastic Fungi, very interesting because here was another way that science looked at the interdependence of life. And through that, then we don't have to worry about afterlife because we're all one, here now and in the future and in the past as well. And so I wanted to share that with you this morning. And again, if you have Netflix, it's a very fascinating program. Fantastic Fungi, the magic beneath us, and how it sort of, I think it's very Buddhistic in the way it explains science. So I'd like to close this morning's service. I think I said we will be singing the Ondok-san, but our organist is not here. So we'll just close with the Gassho. So please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much for those who came to attend, all the way from the island even, so thank you very much. And then those on Zoom, thank you as well. And we'll see you next week. Okay.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you.